to the Ace Podcast. I'm your host, Will the Greatest, where we talk all things art, culture, and entertainment, but more specifically, pop culture entertainment. How are y'all doing this fine? It's Friday morning for, I guess, the both of us now. Um, yeah, with me today, I have returning co-host Aaron. My man, how are you doing today, this fine early ass morning? The sun will probably come up by the time we're done.
Well, I'm over here on the West Coast. It's about midnight, and to answer your question, I'm doing immaculate. We just had essentially a precast right before recording for a couple
Right.
of hours. Got caught up as boys, so that was dope. And yeah, we're talking about life, highs, lows, thoughterry.
Yeah. Relatable content.
Relatable content. That's for the After Dark show, though.
Yeah.
But to answer your short question, I'm doing good. Doing good today.
Good. It's good.
How you doing?
I'm good actually. Life is uh, consistent. You know, I could definitely stand to have more money. You know,
Damn,
this is our first one of the new year. This is our first show. I think it is our first show of the new year. First or second? It might be the second. I think
it's our second. Because did we talk about Peacemaker?
Oh wait, no. This is our technically our third. The second for us, third for listeners, because I cut the last one in half. The last episode was our favorites from 2021.
Oh, you're right. We did that early. So what you've done? So Siri was just started to be nosy for a second. So the audio cut out. So we did that one in early 2021. Did you do one in between that one and this one?
I have not.
Okay, so it's the second episode.
Second for us, third for them, because I cut the initial one where we talked about like Euphoria and Peacemaker and everything when they first aired, and in the time since, Euphoria has 2 episodes left, I believe,
and has escalated significantly.
Yeah, and so we'll probably talk about that once that ends. LotR has started. Might talk about that a tiny bit later. Got a couple of like Obi-Wan got a release date for May. It's, end of May. Moon Knight trailer, we got that. That's coming out in March, so that'll be exciting. Yeah. But I'm trying to think. Do we have any housekeeping things? No. Do we have any comments? I don't think so. So we can go ahead with the show. Let's start with, we got a good chunk of trailers. I think we'll start with the lighter stuff and then go into the stuff that breeds more conversation. Let's talk about that Lord of the Rings trailer. Lord of the Rims. Amazon's Lord of the Rings show. What did you think about it? I mean, other than all of the comments about black elves existing.
I thought it looked really expensive.
Yeah.
But but I'm like, hey man, it feels like Middle Earth to me. You know, I'm not gonna say I'm a hardcore Lord of the Rings fan. I like the movies. Like I've seen them a few times, but it's not like a religious thing or like I watch it every single year kind of thing. But you know, it looks cool. It looks like what I remember from Middle Earth and Peter Jackson's films, which is a really good compliment, I think, because you know, those movies were cultural staples, especially of the early 2000s and then like the early 2010s with the Hobbit movies. I look forward to kind of seeing where they take it, whoever these new creative team is, and the story they plan on telling. It's interesting because I never imagined them ever doing a Lord of the Rings series, just because you know those movies were so, I don't know, like all encompassing and just like they fit into this nice little spot of fantasy and pop culture and nerd culture, and I never imagined them kind of building upon that. And I always heard, or like in the past couple of years, heard about them doing a series, but it always felt like one of those things to me that was like, okay, yeah, like they'll like how Guillermo del Toro said he was going to do like a Hulk show, or like how that how that one show with Squirrel Girl was going to come out, but then never did. So I don't know. I kind of expected it to fall through, but the fact that it's actually like here and it's real, it's like, oh shit, okay, like they're
It's
doing something. They're doing
surprising.
stuff. Surprising, yeah, surprising that it's actually going to be a thing. And I'm sure, like with Amazon promoting the shit out of it, and with already there being Lord of the Rings and like this resurgence of like nostalgic content with Star Wars, and then with Jurassic Park and other properties, like I'm sure it's going to be a huge success, and I just hope that it's going to be good. I want. I'm not one of these fans that like hates on new stuff coming out or hates on the expanding things. Like back in my day, like we had this and we had the OG Star Wars, and nothing's gonna top that. Like I'm
Right.
rooting for storytellers to advance their stories and to like do bigger, better things than what was the foundation for what they stand on. And yeah, I think the same thing goes for this new show. And I'll watch it. If I'm being honest, the trailer didn't like get me super excited. Like I'm not losing my shit over it.
I agree.
Unlike certain other trailers that may have come out. But yeah, I mean it's fine. It looks like okay, this is real. There's black elves. CG looks great for the most part, and I hope it's gonna be fun. I hope it's gonna be entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I think you basically summed it all up. I'm not a huge Middle Earth person in terms of my personal nerd interests. The most gripping engagement I've had was probably when I played Shadow of Mordor, which is a fantastic game. I have War. I still need to start it and beat it. But man, watch the trailer. It's like, since I'm not in the fandom, I didn't get explicitly hype. I saw all the dumbass racist quote unquote controversy from, of course, the loud minority. But other than that, I mean, the biggest complaint I've seen really is that like there aren't a lot of elves with beards. But the story seems curious. I mean, I'm not exactly the demographic for it, but I'm happy for the fans that they're getting more material from the Middle Earth, and that with the fantasy realm there is a little bit more realm of kind of diversity of the casting. And another project that I actually heard, like comic book wise, I hear is a very good fantasy series. If you're looking for like a black high fantasy comic, is Niobe, She Is Life, I think is what it's called, from Amandla Stenberg and the people over at Stranger Comics. I heard about it from Fantastic Frankie, Instagrammer and YouTuber and a big old nerd. She's cool people, so check her out. Link her down below. But yeah, getting back to the Lord of the Rings stuff. I mean, I'll probably give it a shot. I think, oddly enough, I think a show will probably be a little bit more digestible for me than trying to get into the movies are. And it's not that the movies are hard; they're just fucking long.
Right.
and so what's funny is I believe we own the original trilogy on like VHS, and I had never really watched them until I got to college. And not even here, it's just friends were like, "Oh, let's watch Lord of the Rings." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, yeah, let's do that." So and yeah, here we are. So the fact that Amazon is finally going forward with this, I mean, time will really tell. The big thing is just going to be, the effects look good. That opening thing they did with the logo was apparently real. They poured like actual hot, was it like hot metal into the plate or whatever, and like poured water over it to create the steam and everything. That like a camera jumping around. So it's really cool. It seems like they're trying to put their best foot forward with this. So who knows where this goes? But fingers crossed that it's good. I want media to be good. I don't like hearing failure stories. So
right. Okay, there is one thing. I'm like, as you're talking, I was rewatching the trailer. There is one thing, like for the most part, the CG looks great. There's one thing, watching it now, even the first time I saw it, looked a little questionable to me.
Is it that big moving monster thing?
Not that part. No, it's the part where like the girl in the armor, she like sticks her knife into the side of the the
Oh,
mountain, and then she looks up. I was just
yeah.
like, I don't know what it is. Something about it looks fake to me. Like, I don't know if it's her face. I don't know what it is, but it reminds me of that Beowulf movie, and I don't know why.
Oh,
Like, if you look at that clip, I'm
it's.
just like, I'm sure that's a real
I know what you're
face.
talking about. It, yeah. Weirdly enough, that snippet probably has some uncanny valley to it
Yeah.
somehow of a hand, which is kind of impressive in its own right.
Are people tripping about this? Oh, I see the black elf now. Okay. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know why I assumed that because I remember vaguely seeing a quick shot of somebody black in the trailer. I don't know
Mm.
why I assumed that the he because I associate the elves with having longer hair, that he would have like long hair, have like locks or something. I'm like, oh
Right,
no,
like
this thing he's got a fade. He's an elf with a fade. Okay.
yeah, like that's the thing that they really get me is probably like the hairstyles. It's like, yo, there's a lot of shortcuts in here.
Right. Okay. Like, yeah, like who cutting your hair? What's going on there? Oh, okay. Some of the stuff towards the end of this trailer, I'm like it looks very cinematic, like very much like, which is hey, more than I would could ask for. Like, I'm sure this is gonna make all the Lord of the Rings.
So, but yeah, you want any other thoughts on upcoming Lord of the Rings?
Nah, I'm sure it's gonna be dope. Wait for September.
Ooh. Dang, that's close, huh? So let's our next trailer, Jurassic World Dominion. Um, I am impressed, honestly, as someone that was very has been pretty critical of Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom is probably, in my
Fallen Kingdom's
opinion,
off.
the worst. It's fighting for bottom with Jurassic World with Jurassic Park 3. Um, but if they manage to kind of save it with this one, which I have a little bit of optimism after the battle at something park. They had a short that came out that was very good. So I'm like if it's um anything like that, then that could be a bit of a place to go. But yeah, the Dominion trailer, I mean, the shots in it were beautiful. The effects look really good. I'm curious about where the plot's going and what it is that brought back Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler. I love them. Don't get me wrong. Seeing them was an absolute treat. It almost had me as excited as seeing the dinosaurs was. And we got more dinosaurs with feathers, which I think the implication is there's an active evolution with them going on. So, um, yeah, I mean,
No,
I really liked it. It actually managed to tug on a lot of strings for me. I think it was a really effective trailer. I don't know the full story or where they're going. The cast looks like they're playing off of each other well. I feel like they spent more money trying to get back uh oh my god, what's the actor's name? The one that plays Dr. Grant. Um More money getting him and the old cast back than they did on the actual dinosaurs. And the dinosaurs look great, mind you. They still look awesome. So
hmm. Yeah, no, I think like I wasn't a huge fan of the last one either. Like, it didn't really do anything for me. It was one of the few movies where I would go actually go to the bathroom or like go buy a soda while the movie was actively playing because I just didn't care about what was happening.
yeah,
So what
yeah.
I'll probably rewatch all the movies because I haven't seen the Jurassic Park movies since I was like a kid.
But
So I don't
one
really have the same
one
emotion.
is still fire.
Oh yeah, of course, the classic one.
Mm.
I like Jurassic World. I remember enjoying
I
it, but
enjoy it, but like conceptually, it's always bothered me of we need a new dinosaur to our attraction, so let's make the most apex of apex predators. I'm like, that's one of the dumbest lines of thinking I've ever seen on film. Let's make it
the
big and
apex.
scary and able to cloak itself. It's like you fucking morons. Oh, but for the investors, that makes it so much worse.
Right. Why would anybody? Why would you do that? You're dumb. You're all dumb. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's good. I think it could be good. I think it could be cool. I don't
Mhm.
know who's the creative team behind it, but I don't know. It's always cool. Oh, Colin Trevorrow came back with this one. Okay, nice.
Yeah, he's been on all three, which is had me very skeptical
Back to
because.
direct. He didn't direct the sequel. He didn't direct Fallen King.
But it was J.A. Bayona, but he wrote it. That's the problem. That movie visually looks good, but narratively is trash.
Do you think it was a good move or a premature move to show all of them in one shot together in the trailer?
It's a good eye catcher. I feel like there's still a lot of things that we don't know. There's still room for some surprises because no, some of them might die.
True. Yeah, this is the end of the whole saga
For
until
now,
they reboot it again.
until
For
they try
now,
and
exactly.
reboot it again. And how much of Camp Cretaceous makes it into this?
They bring those animated. They're still animated though.
Oh,
They bring them
that'd be wild actually.
right.
Battle at Big Rock. That's what the shit was called. But yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Because I'm a simp for dinosaurs, even if I hate it, I'm still gonna see it twice. I did
you
it with
see Fallen Kingdom twice?
did
Damn. I'm sorry.
like
For your
let the
wallet and your
shittiness
eyes.
sink in. It's like that movie is honestly kind of a so bad it's good kind of movie.
Oh, okay. I
It's
only
like
saw it the one time.
yeah, it's like don't get me wrong, it's gutterball stupid. Um, and it one of the things I did hate is that there's a lot of areas where I saw potential in it. Like the opening, I actually think is pretty strong. Yeah, the scene of the death of the brachiosaur is it's very well executed but unwarranted. Like they didn't earn it. It's unearned. In my opinion. And
I don't
like
remember it, so I can't even comment on
the brachiosaur that was engulfed in the ash and all you see it mimics like it rising to eat up from the treetop in the first movie, but this time it's like opposite. So it's like instead of it showing the first birth of new life, it's new life dying in an ash from a volcano that suddenly erupted. So
It's
yeah,
a shame they blew their load and wasted it.
yeah, it's a beautiful shot. I just hate the context behind it. I mean, I'm not a fan of the movie around it, you know, and like the saving grace, of course, the fucking bullshit Indoraptor. Good lord, what a dumb concept that came about from a side conversation. The first one, it's like, oh, what if we did that? But it's like take the Indominus, but make it smaller, you know, more tactical. Okay, cool. We'll turn into a Velociraptor. I'm sorry.
You did what?
Like, so we made the worst thing ever faster and smaller. Awesome. Congratulations, you made it worse.
That's how we make things worse.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna check it out. It looks good. I really like I said, the shots actually look really interesting here. More so than in previous films. So I'm like, okay, trying. They're like, this might be our last go at it. Let's try and put our best foot forward. We can see if we can make more money than Spider-Man again.
I don't know. I mean, you maybe because I feel like the first one was like kind of unique because first time in like what 15 or so years that we'd seen Jurassic Park. I don't know how much the last one made. I don't know. Maybe you'll get in the nostalgia of seeing all the old. Maybe that'll get it, but I don't think it's gonna Spider-Man.
No, I'm doubtful of that. But I remember the first one actually. I think it was the highest grossing movie of all time until Age of Ultron came out.
Oh, okay.
Not of
That's
all
right.
time, but of the year until Age of Ultron.
I think it made the $1 billion club. Yeah, no, it definitely did.
Yeah, I think it did because the only reason I remember is that there is an image of I think the T-Rex holding Mjolnir, Rexy holding it,
Like,
which
yeah,
was really cute
Marvel
that they made.
put out a statement giving them their props.
Yeah, which I'm like, that's nice. You have plenty of $1 billion movies. I mean,
Yeah. Like, okay, you know, it's all blockbusters are all, it's all friendly competition.
Yeah, it's
They're
like
already
we'll own you in the future anyways. It's no big deal.
right.
I see what you're working with. I don't know. Any other thoughts on Fallen Kingdom? I mean, we got feathered dinosaurs, and I mean, they brought back the old cast. That's all I really kind of care about at this point. They brought back the literal fossils. This one.
No, man. Like the Jurassic Park stuff, just because I haven't seen them in so long, it's not something I have like emotional. But I think it's like, you know, it's cool. I mean, I'll watch it. I'll probably rewatch all the old before going into this new one, and then that'll build my hype for it.
Hmm.
But as of right now, I'm like, yeah, looks cool. It's like we got some cool dinosaur shots. It's cool seeing dinosaurs run with horses and stuff. They're out in the
Yeah,
wild,
that
which
was a cool shot.
they've wanted to build up for this for years, and yeah, they're finally seeing the tangibilization of of that dream. So yeah, gonna be cool. Look forward to seeing what they do with that story.
Um, I guess interjecting another trailer here before we get to uh the Disney ones. Well, I guess the other Disney ones. Moon Knight got a trailer. It looks good in my opinion. It looks trippy and interesting. I think we got another teaser additionally as well, just introducing Mark Spector, but not this Mark as he's known in the comics. We also got confirmation recently that we are going to see the Mr. Knight suit, which is really cool. But I mean, Oscar Isaac is a great talent. Ethan Hawke, great talent. The show looks really creative. I am mostly interested in how they kind of handle the portrayal of Ark and his alters. So kind of from the mental health perspective of things, because I know that's a really, really tricky subject when it comes to Hollywood, especially when you get into the realm of like superheroes and fiction. Um, so like he has a actual mental health diagnosis uh as part of like his character. So I'm really curious how they're going to do that and incorporate that as well into the visuals, like them showing Khonshu and just like the separations of Mark's moments of like mania and hallucinations with his actual reality. I think there's a lot of room to do a lot of creative stuff there, but I'm wondering how they're gonna monopolize it. But what did you think? I mean, it left me very excited. Um,
No, yeah, same. I think it made me really, really excited. Just because I don't know a ton about Moon Knight, but I was definitely aware of who he was
mhm.
prior to this trailer, or them even knowing this being a show. I think my first-hand exposure to Moon Knight was one of my favorite video games of all time, Spider-Man: Web of Shadows,
Oh,
where
true.
you pick a certain storyline or certain choice, and you get Moon Knight. And I was just like, who is this mysterious white Batman character? And he was just, I don't know, it was just so cool with his moonship. And
Right.
yeah, I think some other stuff I kind of saw him in as well, but actually seeing him get to be in a live action format, something that maybe I saw eventually happening, but I never visualized or like saw what that being a thing would look like. And I think they're
Mm.
doing some really cool stuff with it. You know, I think Oscar Isaac is probably one of my favorite actors right now. Seeing him first in a movie called Inside Llewyn Davis, where he plays a country folk singer, but
Mm.
then recently having watched really interesting look at relationships. Something I don't think that we've talked about that I've seen recently is he and Jessica Chastain did a show called Scenes from a Marriage, which was
Yeah, I've been meaning to
fucking
watch that
incredible.
because the ads looked really, really interesting.
It's really good. It's like Malcolm and Marie, but like turned up
Yeah.
over the course of like five or six episodes. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
five. Um,
I think it's in my
yeah,
queue.
he's yeah, dude. Check that out. We gotta. I don't know if we'll talk about it on the show, but like we should just talk about individual
Right.
friends. But yeah, just seeing him in that, seeing him that the actual character that serves him and his talents because Apocalypse was trash. It was a waste of Oscar Isaac in that
Absolutely.
role. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really cool. I like the visuals. I really like the Super Bowl ad where it shows him like the moon cape. I love the picture of him as Mr. Knight, which is dope. And I think it's another case similar to what we experienced with like Guardians when they first came on the scene, except a little bit more darker, obviously.
Mhm.
I know people aren't really fans of Eternals, but I think this is going to be a little bit more positive side for Marvel taking a risk and introducing a character that maybe wide audiences aren't necessarily familiar with. I think it really speaks to that dark mythos side, that action adventure side, that mythological side. And I really like the design they chose for Moon Knight, which I think
I do too.
whoever decided on that design is a fucking genius, because Moon Knight's been around for years. I want to say since like the 70s. And
Mhm.
there's been different iterations of him over the course of his existence in the Marvel Universe. But I think in more recent years, they decided upon the fact that, one, the dissociative identity thing, but also the fact that the spirit of Khonshu, this Egyptian deity, is
Mhm.
possessing him, which is why he's Moon Knight. And I think it was so clever of them for them to incorporate a sort of mummy Egyptian effect to his
Right.
outfit,
Yeah.
which is genius. I'm like, how has no comic done that before? It makes sense why he would look like that, which is very cool. The only thing is, I'm wondering to the fact that I don't think Moon Knight in the comics actually has any physical superpowers, other than the fact that I think the moon. I think I read something saying that
He
moon
just
would
he has the superpower.
strength.
He has the main superpower you need: the ability to beat a bitch ass.
Right, but you would think like with this man who makes bandages wrap around his body, and the fact that he has glowing white, you would think that he has like some other supernatural abilities. But we'll see. Marvel said this
Yeah.
is their most brutal show yet. We'll see how true that tends to, or how true that will
How that
become.
leans.
My
Um.
biggest worry for the show, though, outside
mhm.
of the fact that the trailers look really good, looks very cinematic, is the fact that again, unlike like these other Marvel shows, so far to me, the only one that's absolutely stuck the landing with having this 6-episode format is Loki. And I think, as
And
we're going to
even
talk about
still,
later, I know Loki is not everybody's finale, and I personally really loved it,
I don't know. I
but
think the finale is really good. It's the show before it. That's where the
that's
wobbly
where we
hand
differ. I
comes.
love that fucking show. I think that's my
Yeah.
number one.
Then mine is still
That's a
WandaVision.
conversation. Yeah. Our differences, opinions for Loki for another time. But
But,
I think that with them, with the shorter episode runs, I
mhm.
think it's weird because it both. I think with Marvel, they've had this thing of like, okay, we're making it a movie, but over the course of 6 hours. But I think with the nature of what the show is, it's still a show. So it has this feeling of simultaneously feeling like it's too short to be a show, but not long enough to be a movie.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. It's in this weird spot where like maybe it could have been a movie, but it's so long it couldn't have been. But it's also too short to be a show because
Mhm.
I don't feel like I got enough from it, and I hope it doesn't fall into that trap. I hope it's perfectly. I hope the story of this character or these characters can be perfectly contained within this 6-episode format that we're about to receive.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got a couple months to wait.
Yeah. And I think my concerns, which funny enough, the Netflix series will actually be leaving Netflix at the end of the month. So we will tentatively see where they go. I'm assuming Hulu. Um, but with them saying this is was it their darkest show? Is that what they said?
The most brutal show.
The most brutal. I'm wondering how brutal it will be because Daredevil was like brutal. You're talking police corruption, like legal courtroom investigations, murders out the asshole. And it's not that like people don't die in the MCU, but depicting more human brutality versus more fantastical ones. And I think a lot of that has to kind of do with context because, like, WandaVision is very much an exploration of trauma. Falcon Soldier had a lot to do with like race and politics, but one of the critiques that Disney consistently gets is not going far enough with these dialogues. So I think that would also be, and again, I know is Disney, they will only go so far, but I kind of want to see them continue to push these buttons that they've started with these other shows, that I think do a good job at kind of cracking the door open. But I would enjoy for Moon Knight to open that door even wider, especially if you're getting to the realm of exploring like mental health and perceptions of reality.
No, yeah, I think they should definitely crack that door wide open. Like, yeah, just don't hold back. If you're gonna go there, like you need to go there.
You got to go there. 'Cause you can't really, especially with something like this, you can't really half measure something as seriously as fucking DID. You know? um, so it is something that I will say is a little bit, probably a bit more of a sensitive subject because the general populace knows of it, but maybe doesn't know like the full intricacies of it, like even further in a more clinical sense. And I say that as
Yeah,
someone who has very, very bare bones familiarity with it.
and I hope that it can walk that line of potentially being educational and bringing awareness to it. Even on now online, see people mistakenly refer to what Moon Knight has schizophrenia when it's dissociative identity disorder, and they're two different things. And I hope that it can educate people on the difference, but not at the cost of the story that they're trying to tell. Like, I hope it doesn't become a PSA for mental health in placement of a good story, but I also want it to address it in a way that makes it understandable for the general public.
Yes. I'll make a very strange comparison here, wherein it's kind of like how Euphoria does with drug use. I don't need it to be a PSA about what it is. I would rather it be like, this is what the experience is like.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's more about the experience and less about like it's learning more so kind of the empathy and understanding. That's the lesson. Not, hey, today kids, we're going through the DSM-5. Did you have DID? Here's the listing.
I think the thing that fascinates me, maybe not I guess not about the show itself, but like obviously this is another Marvel property with an ever expanding universe. It's going to be like we're damn near approaching 30 MCU properties at this point. And it's weird because like we already had the Infinity Saga, we had those already had a shitload of, and we've passed that point of the ultimate culmination. We're only expanding, adding more characters, more mythology to this larger Marvel universe. It makes me wonder what role Moon Knight will have in that larger universe. What does a character that inhabits this corner of Marvel do on a larger scale? Like, is he part of the Avengers? Does he just come in with the information these other characters need in the future? How does Moon Knight fit in? And how does he play with these other characters with his dissociative identity?
They're probably setting up Midnight Suns.
Okay.
If we're getting him and Blade. I can't remember who else was on that team.
Ghost Rider?
Yeah, Ghost Rider maybe.
Will be part of that.
Whenever they get around to kind of do something with him. So they're probably, that's where I can most likely see him.
But even there, like we're so early in that. Like I feel
Right.
like with these new people, with the stuff like Dan Whitman, and we're like, it's almost like it's phase one all over again. Like
Yeah.
we're getting all these new characters, but we have yet to see how they play together. And I think that's part of the excitement because, yeah, I don't want to go on about like stuff Kevin Feige just said about like the last Avengers, but I think that, yeah, I don't know, there's just a lot of exciting possibilities being in the place where we are right now.
Mhm.
I know people get some superhero fatigue, but like for me, it's like as long as you guys are telling good stories and like unfolding this universe in ways, like I'm here for awesome stories and characters, and not, and you know, it's not fucking 2002 anymore, where the damsel in distress is always getting captured by the supervillain. Like I feel like we've evolved past that
Mm.
into more intricate versions and ways we tell these fantastical comic book stories.
Right. I agree. I guess while we're talking about Marvel stuff, you want to talk about the new Multiverse of Madness trailer that we got?
Hells yes, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, so like right before the Super Bowl, we got a second trailer for Multiverse of Madness coming out in May. A lot of fucking M's. There's every scene has something. And there's a lot in this that we're not seeing. God, where do we start and where do we begin?
Well, first of all, with the Sam Raimi,
Yeah. As
this trailer felt very Sam Raimi.
yeah, someone
'Cause
pointed out there's not really any jokes in it in the trailer.
there's like one kind of, but not. I don't think he's gonna have that typical Marvel. I think he's gonna do Sam Raimi. Like Sam Raimi has jokes, but they're not like
He has a
straight up
yeah,
jokes.
Sam has a very specific sense of like as someone that has watched enough Evil Dead and Darkman. Have I watched all of Sam Raimi's filmography? I'm trying to think. I might have. But regardless, like he does have a sense of humor, but it's not like he's not really a quippy guy. One of the actual kind of faults with his take on Spider-Man, but he's kind of more of a one-liner type of guy, I'd say.
Okay. I
Because
don't. Yeah, I don't.
there,
I've only seen the Spider-Man movie.
oh, dude, you got to go back and watch the Evil Dead trilogy because that has a lot of quotables, especially Army of Darkness is infamous for him. You know, like you know, all right, you primitive screwheads, listen, this is my boomstick. Hey, she bitch, let's go. To trick, get an axe. All those are from Army of Darkness, but it's just like, yeah, he's I'm trying to think if there were any in Drag Me to Hell. Um, but yeah, he does have a sense of humor to him. He's just like, God damn, he has 5 kids and it's busy.
I never saw Drag Me to Hell. Discography right now.
Oh, that is, whoo boy. Drag Me to Hell is a movie that exactly what it so the plot of it is like simple, it's straightforward. Um it's kind of a mean-spirited movie.
Really?
Like when you get into like what you see on the cover, yeah, that's what you get. But the build up to it and the context behind it, you're like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot. This is a lot to happen from where it started to and why it started where it was and who it happened to in the context it happened. It's like, dude, god damn. Okay, no, I've only seen a fraction of his discography or his filmography. Good lord. Oh, he did do Oz the Great and Powerful. Jesus.
I forgot about that movie. I forgot that existed.
I did too. Oh, okay.
Did he write that? No, he didn't.
No. He just directed it. He did the story for Man with the Screaming Brain. Damn. Okay. Some interesting ones in here. But yeah, Darkman is just fucking funny. The Liam Neeson movie that nobody talks about. But yeah. Anyways, getting back to Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, you're right. It does feel very. People have made shown some comparisons to it. It's very Sam Raimi esque. We have not John Williams. Is it John Williams on the score? Oh, not him. Kenny Elfman. Kenny Elfman's on the score. So that's another exciting return. The visuals are good. We're getting multiple Doctor Stranges. My girl America Chavez is looking dope, looking like how she's supposed to look, which is not annoying and actually likable. Wanda making some interesting points with her new outfit, talking about how he's seen as the hero and she's seen as the villain throughout all their choices. Which, to be fair, Wanda, you kidnapped a town out of grief. I understand, but it's not okay.
Yeah, like semantics. The details are important.
Right.
He's trying to do something good. Kind of trying to preserve the memory that has.
There was certainly an effort, huh?
You're trying to preserve your good.
Right.
Well, hey, I get it. Like, I can't be mad at you. And down, yeah. As a viewer, like, I get it. Like, I understand your side. But yeah, a lot of wild stuff in this trailer, though.
Yeah. Visuals.
Multiple strangers. Visuals look insane with the Rubik's Cube head.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they're able to kind of. I'm not surprised that they can top the sequence from the original Doctor Strange. I am surprised in the ways in which they're topping the ones from No Way Home, because those visuals were crazy,
insane. Yeah,
and the fact that this looks to go even further beyond that. Mordo shows up. We get like Ultron bots. It looks like, or some sort of Ultron guard.
Quick side note.
Yes.
How do you feel about Mordo's locks?
Man, our community has been roasting the shit out of those damn locks. I thought they were fine. I didn't think they were that bad, but god damn.
Have people been roasting his locks for real?
Yeah, our people, yeah. Black people been dragging them Jones to hell and back. They've been saying he got the Tyler Perry braids.
I'm not on Black Twitters. I don't know. I'm not on Twitter like that. I don't know what people be saying about it.
Remember the?
I looked at it a little funny the first time I saw it, but they've grown on me.
Yeah,
I don't think they're that bad.
The fucking Diary of a Mad Black Woman locks. I'm like, damn, bro, they're not that bad. Maybe I don't know because I don't have locks, but it was certainly I guess he's been growing his hair out.
I mean, it has been like what, since 2016 plus 5 years. So like, yeah,
yeah.
Man, like, so he's growing it for like 7 years. Yeah, that's understandable.
Longer than that.
He started growing his hair 7 years.
Oh, no, yeah, it's 2025.
2016. 20 no.
Oh no, it's 2023. It's 20. No, you're right. It's
yeah. Because then we know that Doctor Strange and Infinity War took place in real time because they said they hadn't talked in 2 years.
Yeah.
Plus 5 years past that. He's been growing his locks for 7 years. Yeah. Leave this man alone. Let him grow his locks in.
Yeah.
Hashtag Mordo's locks journey.
The fucking the literal the. What was I about to call him? I was about to make a joke and I completely forgot it. Fucking more locks, or struggle. More locks, more problems.
More locks, more problems.
More locks, but no more loons. So yeah, he's I guess arresting him, and it looks like he's taking him before an interdimensional version of the Illuminati. Because let's all talk about it. It sounds like Patrick Stewart is returning. But
Patrick Stewart's returning. We see the bald head. We see the roll up slowly.
I'm skeptical.
I could feel conflicted about it.
I'm skeptical to believe it because you know me. Hey, look, until it happens in front of my eyeballs at the theater, I don't believe that shit. It's like Tony Baker with Rihanna's
Right.
pregnancy. It's like, it's not real until I get an official statement.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I want to know what they're doing with that.
Mhm.
And I know they definitely included it just so they can get like the buzz of people talking about it. Because I personally don't feel like the trailer needed it because there's already enough insane imagery to
Agreed.
like carry it on its own.
But also
But
it did
it's
just
cool it's
enough
there.
so that you still aren't sure. You're going off
I'm
your
definitely
intuition.
sure. That's fucking Patrick Stewart. There's no other man on earth sounds.
What? Hey, yo, what if you get to the theater and it's not even him? Is it some completely different bald-headed dude with working legs?
Then we're rioting. We're tearing up the streets because they did it again.
Because
Marvel fucking did it
you
again.
get fucking
They bonered us again.
you get fucking tucked by Sam Raimi. It's like who's the dude that plays Walter White?
Bryan Cranston.
It's Bryan Cranston, but they had Patrick Stewart do like the voice just for the trailers, just to fuck with you. It's Bryan Cranston as the new Professor X. Wait a minute.
I would not be mad.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Might have did something by accident.
You may be onto something.
I didn't think about it. Oh, okay. All right. That might be a bar. But yeah, it looks like an interdimensional Illuminati. We see, I think, Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's what people were speculating, especially since we caught her in 4K.
Yeah, they like
caught a
AI
blackface in
upscaled
4K.
the fucking image. See it? I'm like, you fucking nerds ain't got no time, do you?
Oh man, yeah. It's part of me is like, damn, I wish I didn't see some of this because like the part where him and America Chavez travel. Like if you watch like the breakdown videos, you can see that it looks like they're gonna go into like an animated world
Saw
for
that.
a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, that should be. Oh, this movie's gonna be wild.
The Deadpool was in like one of the shards of glass.
That's what people keep saying. I don't see it. I don't believe that shit.
I see it.
Deadpool's
I can see it in the image, but I don't believe it.
It's stretching. Like you gotta wink with one eye open, and then you gotta like twitch it a little bit. You gotta turn the lights on and off just so it looks like Deadpool. That's why
it was definitely kind of a squint scenario to see him, but I'm just like, oh, I guess. Again, I don't know what to believe. I thought,
but something that is.
Huh?
You thought what?
I was just saying that because we got confirmation of like Defender Strange showing up in there, and he's in the old trailer too. If you look close, he has a ponytail. And you see him a little bit more in the new one and in the TV spots. Now, I thought that was going to be our Strange taking on a new costume, but it didn't occur to me that could be a different Strange.
Yeah, there's a few Stranges in that poster, especially something I'm not seeing anybody talk about really.
Zombie Strange?
Another Strange in there. Well, yeah, Zombie Strange. I've seen people talk about that, but if you look at two things, actually no, one thing people are definitely talking about, but this other thing I haven't seen anybody talk about is the fact that you see one Strange who's not Defender Strange, not Evil Strange, not Zombie Strange, but there's a Strange who straight up has a mustache. Classic Strange does. If you look at one of the, because Defender Strange has a beard, and then the Evil Strange from the trailer has like a goatee like normal Strange, but like thicker. And then I don't think Zombie Strange has any, but this Strange has like a cut off mustache. So I'm like, okay, who the hell is this man? Is he? I was gonna show us like classic Supreme Strange with his like big ass cape, when his like his stupidly high collar. Because that's the Strange I'm trying to see.
Which they had that statue of him with the tall collar. That's what Luke's been asking for years. He wants comic accurate Strange, and he got him.
He did in the statue. That's right.
He's there.
But also, they were trying to be slick with it. But they knew people were fucking obsessed, and that people would like hyper analyze the poster. They gave us a little glimpse at our live action Captain Carter with the shield.
Yeah,
the poster.
I heard about that. So
I'm just like, how is this movie going to contain all these things that it's one, people have speculated, but two, that it's teasing.
I'm wondering
because there's been a plethora of rumors that we're gonna get what's his name, Tom Cruise, Tony Stark in this.
Yeah, so that's another one of the rumor mills going around.
Which I won't believe it till I see it. It would be cool.
It'd be great.
I won't believe it till I see it though.
It'd be a deep cut. But, like the thing I pitched to one of my friends as an idea, because I remember it was actually in the chat. Luke was saying he just wants to see Council of Reeds, and the thing I told my friend is, I'm like, what if they did Council of Reeds, but it was all of the fan casts for Reed, and none of them, and you don't know who is for our universe. So you got Krasinski, you got William Jackson Harper, you got the one Indian dude from iZombie. Those are like the three biggest ones I think I've heard. I was like, but you don't know which one is like our Reed, and it could be somebody completely different.
Very true.
They just all pop up as variants.
I feel like they wouldn't put our Reed in the trailer. I mean, sorry, I don't feel like they would put our Reed in that movie. I don't think they would.
Yeah, maybe not for this. Well, not for this movie. I mean, for well, I mean, that maybe in a post-credit scene, it's like, who are you? And they're all just like, we are Reed Richards. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, and it looks like Captain Carter might be on that Illuminati Council.
Oh, really? You think so?
I think so. We'll need some women in that bitch. So, especially if Namor's on there, that's gonna make me fight wind.
Make you what?
Fight wind. Punch the air.
Fight wind.
Mm-hmm.
Punch the air, baby. We're gonna fight the wind. We're gonna have some beef.
Right.
We're gonna go Avatar in this bitch.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else to talk about. I'm really trying to think about what the longer game is involving Kang, because Kang is, again, shit's broken now, like Strange and Wanda and Peter and all this shit. So I'm like, how is this going to tie into Kang and Loki's fuck shit?
I would not be surprised if Kang and Loki appeared in this, because those are the properties.
They can fit. Yeah, they can slot
closely
right
related. So, yeah. My only thing is, like, would they even dare to do that prior to Loki season 2? I mean, maybe. I feel like that's its own thing though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because they take place outside of time, but then so does it looks like this potential Illuminati does too. So I don't know, because I feel like the vibe of that whole place was totally different from the rest of the gothic horror trailer that we got.
Yeah, so
yeah, I don't know.
I guess we'll see. The time will tell. I don't know. Any other thoughts before we move on to our last trailer for this trailer talk portion of things?
No, it's gonna be dope. Excited to see it in a couple months.
All right. Yeah. So let's talk about the real multiverse of madness. Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Because who doggy, like, so my reaction to Multiverse of Madness upon hearing who we can only assume is Patrick Stewart's voice was it was definitely a is that Patrick Stewart? Oh my goodness, it's Patrick Stewart. My reaction to this Chippendale trailer was, what the fuck are y'all doing? What is this? What the hell is going on? So this is probably the most bonkers trailer I've seen this year so far.
Oh, hands down.
So this is a meta film from the Lonely Island about Chip and Dale as actual Hollywood celebrities. And
how did they prove this to Disney? And how did they pitch?
Not
because this doesn't seem like it should be real.
Not just how did they pitch this, how did they get this off the ground? Like, one of the first things you see that they point out. One, fucking Paula Abdul and MC Scat Cat. Let me keep it completely clear. I am one of 13 people under the age of 35 that knows who fucking MC Scat Cat is. I swear to you, there is not a large swath of like 29-year-old going, "Oh my god," because the minute I saw it, I'm like, "Is that the nigga from the Opposites Attract video?" And sure as shit, it was. Ooh, that's a deep cut for the people that grew up with Chippendale Rescue Rangers. They were listening to those songs. But right after that, we were doing the Roger Rabbit with Roger Rabbit. And I'm like, brought back Roger Rabbit. What the fuck? What? I thought Roger Rabbit was like an untouchable movie. I'm gonna be honest. It was one of those things where I'm like, it's so good. You let it be. You know, like I was thinking the other day of like the top greatest animated films of all time, and for me it was like Into the Spider-Verse, Roger Rabbit were at least top two competing for number one constantly. That's because of what they accomplish. But like then we get to this is before we even get further into the plot of like going into CG is a surgery now, and I think Dale he's like, "Oh, I see you see I got the surgery," while Chip is still, and like the implication is that they're going to be like this all movie, which is real wild because that's not only, oh, we're bringing cartoons to the real world with CG. We have two completely different like styles of animating their CG that will be coexisting with each other. There's a lot of background shit. Like at the Comic-Con scene, you can see Batman symbols. It's not like Disney-fied. There's a lot of like specific joke. Like there's a Cats reference. Seth Rogen plays like a giant gnome. For some reason, why is he in this movie? But whatever. At least it's not a main role. Andrew the Black Nerd had a really, really good breakdown, but he also called it Chippendale broke me, which I agree because it broke me too. Where he talks about Gadget not being in most of the trailer outside the beginning, Honoré Jack and his cheese addiction, which probably isn't a joke, but I did laugh at the little mouse just like, "More please, more please, more please," and just getting fed by the cartoon mouse. I'm just like, this is sad but funny. It's like niggas in a crack house, but cheese. Like probably somewhere underneath a charcuterie board, eating Gouda, fucking strung out on mozzarella. I'm trying to think about like what else happened in this fucking bonkers ass trailer. He had a really good theory for what happened with Gadget, so I'm not gonna, because that's a spoiler. I'm not gonna lean into that. But there's something else. Talking about the voices, because how it might actually be a meta reference. Because I was confused when I saw the cast. I'm like, that's a weird fucking pick for two. It's the thing that always bothers me, especially for like they did it with Alvin and the Chipmunks. I'm like, if you're gonna change the voice of the characters by speeding it up and it's indistinguishable, why does it matter? You know, just get the original voice actors. They could have gotten the original voice actors. They're still alive. But for context, how they did the voice acting process for like Alvin and Chipmunks and Chippendales is essentially they say their lines very slowly, and then in post they speed it up to get it to sound normal speed but high pitched, which is like cool. But so for this, it might be lampooning the fact that that recording process is a part of the acting that they would have to do. So Andy Samberg and John Mulaney are just their regular voices. Which, if so, and if that's what the joke is, that's actually really, really smart. And it lets me kind of bypass my usual bias against hiring celebrities for the voices. Because I'm like, okay, I can actually hear them perform. what were your thoughts about the trailer? Because shit was weird, son.
Shit was wild. Shit was weird. Far, I was not expecting it in the slightest. Yeah, man, it was wild. I wasn't super attached to the Rescue Rangers. I knew of them. I might have seen it, but yeah, dude, it was really crazy seeing all that stuff go down, especially with the ending with Seth Rogen and like them talking about like the CG or like the like addressing that Beowulf era and seeing cats like fighting in the alley. I was like, how do they get away with that? Like legally, can they do that? But apparently they can.
Yeah,
and I was like,
go ahead.
This movie, it's weird because like it feels like it shouldn't exist because like the Rescue Rangers were originally for children. So I'm like, okay, is this for just like the adults for 30 years later, but they're gonna make it PG? I'm like, I feel like, do you think this movie's gonna be PG-13 or do you think it's hello? Oh,
okay.
So you cut out there for a second.
Yeah, you did too.
Do you think it's gonna be PG?
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Good job by making it PG.
Yeah.
Hello? Yeah. Hello?
Okay. Yeah. Cut out for a second.
So what were you saying about making it PG?
I think it could be. I was like, do you think it's going to be PG-13? I think it's going to be PG.
I think it's going to be PG because you can do, because Roger Rabbit was PG too, wasn't it?
I mean, it was also like, what, the 80s and 90s? I feel like PG.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was pre-PG-13, I think.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, like Jaws was PG.
Yeah.
I don't think that would fly to.
You're right. I think it's going to be, I think because it's Chippendales and it's so associated with a kids franchise, you gotta.
But then what kids know Chippendale today? And they also literally have.
But that's what they got the reruns on Disney Plus. That's how they find out. But
fair.
But no, it's definitely it's got to be for the people that grew up with it because those are almost who do you think's paying for the Disney Plus?
Right.
I also like
who's paying the bill.
I don't know where they would have a slot for anything like quote unquote more mature for a project like this. Like the references, yeah, are gonna have a good range to them, but it's not like Space Jam 2 where they were referencing a fucking Clockwork Orange.
Fair. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It looks promising. I hope it doesn't let me down. It looks promising.
I hope those weren't all the best scenes in it. I think there's a really interesting like premise and commentary here in this about the current state of film. Like if they're smart, it'll be kind of like Animaniacs. I think is a fair comparison if they're smart about it, because Animaniacs also does like meta humor really well, I'd say. And I think the guys behind Lonely Island are handling it, so I trust them because for the most part, I usually enjoy their writing when I see them on projects. So that's never been an issue for me when I've did something for them. It's more so just like who watches it. That's the thing. But my fingers are crossed that it's good. Like it definitely has my attention. Something that I haven't had a trailer really draw me like this since probably Dune.
Okay.
A bit.
Yeah. No, it really drew me into.
Oh man, we got one other trailer to talk about before we get to the shows.
Oh, what trailer?
Nope.
I'm
so glad I remembered it. So Nope, the upcoming Jordan Peele project that comes out June, I believe. the movie. This is the first we've seen of anything from this outside a poster and a cast list. My guess, Horse aliens. What are you thinking?
Force aliens?
Yeah. Somewhere between Signs and Sorry to Bother You. I'm thinking it's horse aliens. Like, think about it. Horses are already built weird as fuck.
Oh, you said horse aliens. I thought you just said like force
Oh,
aliens.
no.
Like they have
Or,
like Star
no,
Wars.
like the animal. Horse aliens.
Interesting.
That's my theory.
Okay. I could see that because you do see like a horse hand kind of come through in that one shot.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like an alien invasion situation. I think it's interesting we have Kiki Palmer in the lead there.
Yeah.
Because, when sleeping on Kiki minute, she's great. She's a fucking wonderful, charismatic talent in Hollywood
Mhm.
who's maintained a relevance through various levels of like notoriety.
God bless her
since
for it. It's
Keelan
impressive.
the Bee. Yeah, Keelan the Bee, what was it, Jump In? She did in those early days.
True Jackson VP.
Oh yeah.
She's had several shows, movies. Like if there's one thing that she'll do, she actually has another movie coming out that I'm not going to see. I think it's called Alice. It's about it's loosely based off the incidents that happened of black people that were kept as slaves throughout the 60s and 70s.
Oh really?
Yeah, they're like, I think they're kidnapped and forced kind of into slave labor throughout America. So the reason I'm not particularly interested is that it reminds me too much of the concept of antebellum, despite this being inspired by real events that did happen. Just antebellum just burned me from the concept. Real or not is just kind of a no, thank you. But back to Nope. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's like edited out too. We see a weird hand type creature, so it definitely seems alien in nature. Kiki gets sucked up into the air, I think around the end, and I'm like, that definitely looks like a shot that's edited to hide something is pulling her up, rather than it just being the wind.
Yeah.
One of the theories is that Nope is actually an anagram for not of planet Earth, which is clever.
Oh, interesting.
Like
that's cool. I like
yeah,
that.
like, and I'm just like, that's smart.
Not of planet Earth. Wow. Nope. That's kind of genius.
Yeah.
Ever thought of that? If Jordan Peele didn't think of that and somebody else did, like, he needs to pay them because that's fucking genius.
Some
if it's actually
yeah. So
because Jordan Peele, like, he be doing some shit you don't expect. I don't know. I feel like the trailer presents aliens. Weirdly enough, it seems too straightforward for Jordan Peele.
That's the thing, because it's like, wait, if you're telling us there's aliens in it up front, what the fuck is the twist? Jesus.
Right.
Like alien ghosts? Like what? How do you make it bigger than that?
You know what's really cool though? Like, they dropped this at the Super Bowl, the first ever premiere for this movie at the Super Bowl, which is like kind of crazy because this is a horror movie technically.
Yeah.
When was the last time we've ever seen like this level of notoriety or hype for a horror movie, or like just another director's? Because I'm like, I don't feel like what there's few directors of name that maybe Nolan. I don't know necessarily as much as before, but definitely still people go to Nolan for Nolan. Tarantino, but I don't know if they would drop a Tarantino movie like that.
But
like Nolan, Tarantino, I feel like at one point Spielberg, I feel like Spielberg's kind of like
and not like you.
He's always making something. So even though he's like one of the greatest directors in Hollywood, I don't feel like he's not. It's like he's expected at this point. Like, oh yeah, another Spielberg movie.
But also, like you said, when's the last time it happened with a horror movie? I can't even think of that.
Yeah. Like ever since he proved himself to Get Out, like I feel like both us and this one have kind of
There's a lot of
built up a lot of hype.
opportunities kind of opening up for him.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
I'm excited for it because the man's gonna deliver.
Yeah,
This is a little strange. There's like some holes in it, but I like the ride. I think his directorial style is very. I don't know. It's very captivating.
I
from start to finish.
I do find myself usually at least entertained with the stuff he creates. I mean, Candyman made my favorites of last year, so I do enjoy like his writing and ideas and concepts. So yeah, I'm a fan. I respect it.
Didn't he only produce Candyman? Did he write?
He wrote it, or he was a co-writer.
Did? Oh shit, he was a co-writer. Yeah, there's 3 of them: Nia DaCosta, him, and Wynn Rosenfield.
Okay. He was a EP and a co-writer on it. So yeah, I mean, so we'll see where it goes, but so let's get on to these shows. Okay. We start with the good one or the mid one?
We can start with the mid one.
Let's talk about.
Let's end on a high note.
Let's talk about Book of Boba Fett. Okay, Book of Boba Fett, the newest Star Wars project, aka Mandalorian season 2.5. Here's the thing. I didn't hate Book of Boba Fett. I wasn't angered by it. I'm honestly not like disappointed with it either. I think 2/3 of it work, and the third that doesn't is a massive problem. So the 1/3 is Boba Fett's backstory. I really like his backstory. I thought that was actually really well handled for the most part. Make a tiny bit of nitpicks here or there, but otherwise I really liked it. And then everything with Mando was really well executed, especially his first episode from Bryce Dallas Howard. She really knocked out the park on that.
Killed it.
The third that doesn't work out too well is him in the present and moving forward, which is really bad because that's the primary focus of the narrative for the season.
That's the driving promise of what the end of season 2 of Mandalorian got us on board.
Yeah,
with him being a crime lord, the worst crime lord in the history of crime television.
He was not particularly effective in terms of ruling with respect, which was highly disappointing. Fucking who's our girl? Fennec.
Fennec.
Yeah, Fennec was a lot more threatening than Boba was. Like, I think that's one of the weaknesses. One, like Boba's actor pointed out, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but
Tamora Morrison.
Yeah, Tamora Morrison. One, he spoke a little too much. 2, he got bitched out a lot in his fight. Like, I understand he was healing, but damn, like, it's a 7-episode series. He took more ass whoopings than he delivered.
Right.
And that I don't think makes for I don't think Boba Fett works particularly well as an underdog hero, where he has to like come back around. I think there is.
They should have made.
Huh?
They should have made him like John Wick, essentially.
Yeah.
Like not that he's the underdog, but he's the best at what he does.
Yeah.
But the odds, the sheer
number
against
is what gets him.
It's what makes it hard.
Yeah. So it's not that he can't handle himself, but if it's 1-on-100, he's better off with help. Like he knows the impossibility of his odds. So it's not that he won't put a good fucking dent in him, or wouldn't have, but it's that he's smart enough to know better. And that's the thing. You can still have, I think, that balance of him doing the whole rule with respect thing, but have him be essentially what I wanted more was Boba to be like fair but firm. We got a lot of that fair,
Yeah.
not a lot of that firm. No, he had.
You know what the biggest offense was for
What?
me? I felt like he didn't. The show never did a convincing, making me know why he decided to not be a bounty hunter and be a crime lord on Tatooine.
I think that's.
They never did that.
I think that's actually a pretty fair criticism of the show. It's not something that actively led to any disenjoyment I had. Like coming out of it, I liked the last 3 episodes for the most part, especially with the reveal of Cad Bane. Like god damn, he was intimidating. He was only there for like half of 2 different episodes.
Two episodes.
A fucking force, and I think that's the thing is Cad Bane showed up at the end. Like it showed him in the distance, and me as someone that has never watched Clone Wars and has only seen pictures of this nigga. I'm like, oh shit, it's getting real. Like that intimidation factor from image alone, from his silhouette, I knew shit was fucked. And
so wait, you knew who he was, like when you were watching the episode from him?
Yeah.
You saw images.
I know of him by
prior to.
I know of him by reputation.
Okay, I never heard of him prior to watching.
And that's another thing we can talk about too, is like how they kind of handled that, and I think fumbled. I thought he was incredibly like menacing. I thought he was a great addition to the show. I hate that he was so kind of short-lived, killed off, because although he
maybe
right, I'm also suspicious of his death too, because I kind of don't believe it. Because they still showed his little air thing blinking. So I hope he's not dead. Only because he does have a history. Not all the fans watch Clone Wars. They should. I should. I will someday. That's still 6 seasons of television to sit through. So
exactly. No same.
So for those of us who maybe are less privy, the implied death thus far does ring a little hollow in a sense. It does. I'm not saying Boba didn't earn his win, because he did, but and I am glad that he was a little bit more brutal in that moment and what did not hesitate. Well, after the fact, but it's like I think at the sacrifice of a real good potential long-term character if he does turn out to be dead. I'm trying to think about what else happened in the show, like the introduction of the Pike Syndicate. I'm expecting that to be a bit of a long game. I'm thinking they're probably going to bring back Kira as a dark Syndicate member, because although I hate Solo, I didn't mind her. She was fine.
Oh yeah, she was good in it. Amelia Clark, she did a good job.
Yeah, she was fine.
I wouldn't be mad
at her taking over the Syndicate. Makes like what's his name? Maul is dead. Han Solo, like enough time has passed. Like Amelia Clark herself would probably be around the age that she should be appropriately, if not just age her up a little bit. But
this is like, so Solo took place. Do you know how long before?
It's between 3 and 4, so it's in that 18-year gap.
That's so many years. It's like 30. Yeah, wasn't it like 20 or 30 years between 3 and 4?
I thought it was only like 20, because Luke was 18 when he started in episode 4, and then at end of episode 3 he was born, right. And Solo takes place between that.
Right.
So.
You're right. Okay.
And I don't know what the fuck happened to his face, because goddamn, time whooped his ass.
Oh yeah, beat him down. That boy down.
But
are you talking about? You're talking about Luke.
I'm talking about Han.
Oh, Han.
Going from Alden Ehrenreich to Harrison Ford. I mean, it's the same thing with thinking about the Kenobi show. How he went from handsome young Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness. Like, what the shit happened? God damn. Time beat your ass in that desert, didn't it?
fucked you up.
It's a royal ass
Like,
whooping.
damn, change up your whole facial structure and
Hey.
shit.
Got you.
That's
Got you
crazy.
astro fucked. But yeah. So, I mean,
But yeah,
what do we kind of say about Boba? Like, I like the addition of Rancor. That was cool.
it felt very confused of a confused, muddled mess because usually in most shows or even in movies, when you show flashbacks, you have a current day event which you establish, and you show flashbacks. Those flashbacks usually have some sort of theme or story relevance or a full circle character arc that is revisited for the title character. That makes the emotional punch of what he goes through in the end more powerful. But in this show, it felt very flimsy, it was like, okay, what you spent 3 or 4 episodes doing, we really could have that one episode or like 20 minutes, 15 minutes of one episode. I don't feel like we needed most of the show prior to the final battle dedicated to all this backstory. Because when you put that much effort into building up who this character was, there's not a lot of intrigue into who this character is now. We don't know him in this new. He's virtually a stranger, and which makes the writing feel thin. It makes us not care about what's happening because we question both who this guy is and this guy's choices because we're not on board with what he's doing or how he's conducting him. Because we haven't, even though you've given us some backstory, we're not fully understanding the methodology of why he's making the choices that he's doing.
Or
like, how does him going from working with the Empire to going out of the sand
the Sarlacc pit,
and then finding kinship, the Sarlacc pit, and finding kinship with the Tuscans, make you trust some street kids with some fancy bikes without seeing what they can do or how they can be? And why does those experiences make you want to be a crime lord?
Right.
It just doesn't track.
Those parts were no, I agree with you. And mind you, I like the backstory parts, but you make a good point in terms of a narrative structure. Ideally, what you would want to do is connect the elements of the backstory to things he has to face in modern day. Otherwise, why are they popping up? Now, again,
you can loosely say the Pikes are that, but like not directly face the Pike leaders in the present day.
And like, I really like all the backstory stuff, but if they were gonna do it in the format they did it, that could have just been like 2 episodes, or even just like 1 episode, of maybe him, like, I don't know, talking to Fennec something if she asks, and it's just like, hey, you know, what is your story anyways? And he just like lays it out for her, and then we get backstory and all that shit. So, and I don't want to be too harsh on the show. Like, I'll give it these credits. You know, actors deliver; they do what they're supposed to do. I don't have any issues with that. The CGI on Luke looks real good. Grogu looked really good. That whole episode, the first episode with Mando, was just like phenomenally done. Props to Bryce Dallas Howard.
You know what it was? I think I just got it. I think what makes Mando a more show, this show, is that Mando was an active protagonist. Like, he had a mission, and then he went to each planet to further his mission. Boba Fett in this show was a passive protagonist, where he was always reacting to the things around him, and to the point where the showrunners even lost respect for him and took this man's show away from him, making him not even appear in a small, maybe 1-line cameo in the 5th episode before he finally was like, "Oh yeah, this is his show." That'd be like if WandaVision. That'd be like if WandaVision made 2 episodes about Doctor Strange and then right before having their finale. Like, just disrespectful.
Yeah,
like straight up.
Yeah, and an additional thing, I do actually have a minor issue with the Endo episodes is that the first one I think is solid. It's the second one. Essentially, the the second one should have been like the first episode of Mando season 3. So like when it's like, oh, I have this thing to do, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, they're probably going to save that to next season so that we can revisit it. While meanwhile, he focuses on like building up the fucking army that they need to take on the Pikes, and then they
Or
just show it next, and I'm like, I so soon.
mm, I have to agree with you. I think that if they one, it should not have happened in
Oh, you're
Boba
right.
Fett's show. But two, I felt like what they should have done or what they could have done, because you got to think about it. For these people that are watching this like years later, right? It feels so quick.
Mm.
Like they just saw Mando get over the fact that Baby Yoda, Grogu, was gone.
Right.
And like the next time we see him, oh, he's back. I feel like if you are to do this, at least do it like halfway through Mando season. Like make it like episode 4
Yes,
for allowing them to
I
come
agree.
back. Because like because I really liked seeing who Mando was
Mhm.
again without Grogu. Like we've gotten accustomed to Grogu being part of the show, him being this fatherly.
I was
role,
okay with him being
but
gone for a little bit. They should have
but
dragged
seeing
it
him-
out
but, like,
longer. It's like so even
yeah, but seeing how they opened the show, he was so brutal with it with that saber. I was
Yeah.
like, they built
That
up
was
the
great.
show to the point where we saw him bond with this kid, and now let's see him have that return to darkness without this kid, because we've become endeared to this guy, and even without seeing his face, and I was excited to see the journey of him alone
Right.
again. But you know, I'm not upset that Grogu's
Oh,
there, but I was excited to see him back.
they should have drug it out. I agree with you because like the second Mando episode is a really good episode, not the focus of the Boba Fett show. Like even that poster that they released recently, and I'm like, this is a beautiful poster. This is a really cool poster. It's a well done poster. The problem is there is so much going on for a Book of Boba Fett poster. There's 7 other motherfuckers whose names we all know on that poster. Like Boba, Fennec, cool.
You know,
Mando, fair enough. Makes sense. Ahsoka, Luke, Grogu, fucking shoddy that made the spacecraft. All these extraneous people. It's just like, whoa.
you know what's the saddest thing?
And I'm disappointed because I like Robert Rodriguez as a director, and I know he was the showrunner for this.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Rob, this wasn't From Dusk Till Dawn Robert Rodriguez. This was Spy Kids Robert Rodriguez.
Especially with those Vespas.
Yeah, and I didn't realize people were like lighting them fucking Vespas up until after the fact. I'm just like, oh, I really didn't pay him any mind. I'm like, oh, they're bright and colorful. They're fucking hoodlums. Then everyone started calling them Power Rangers, and I'm like, oh.
Vespas. I think one of the biggest offenses, in addition to not really justifying why he wanted to be a crime lord for me, was that there were 7 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett.
Mm.
5 of them, was it 5? Yeah, 5 of the 7 episodes, Boba Fett was the lead in this show. Yet, in spite of that fact, the 2 episodes that were dedicated to Mando did more for Mando in those 2 episodes than the other 5 did for Boba Fett.
You are correct.
Which is fucked up.
It's crazy to me that this is the same director that did like lead of Battle Angel, Sin City, Machete. Did he do Predators?
Oh,
he did Planet Terror for Grindhouse. Once Upon a Time in Mexico, From Dusk Till Dawn, fucking Desperado. Like, this guy knows how to do Western shit. He knows gang shit. What happened? Was it executive meddling? Was it what's her name? Shoddy? That runs Lucasfilm? Like, what happened where it just like the parts are there to make it so much stronger. Um, a- and I just wish, I kind of want a season 2 just to see them redeem it and to also kind of dig deeper into that explicit thing you point out, because that is a big error. Um, why do you want this so bad? Why does this matter to you? You could have picked anywhere else, um, but you picked to come back to this tiny ass town that your old employer used to have. So it's like, what's the real drive?
What's the significance here
Yeah.
for you?
Black Chrysanthemum was cool though. Apparently that was a lower pull, so good for him.
Wait, what you say?
Black Chrysanthemum was a lower pull.
Oh yeah, he was cool. He was a dope Wookiee.
Yeah.
I was like, Loki looks cooler than Chewbacca.
Yeah, he does.
That's fire,
And
Chewbacca.
I didn't realize that there was such beef between Wookiees and the lizard guys.
Oh no,
Until someone told me it's like they have like major beef, like not even gang shit, but apparently the lizard dudes, I keep forgetting their fucking names, are like vicious to Wookiees and like skin them and shit. Apparently like space racist type shit. So when he popped off at the thing, I'm like, hey yo, what the fuck happened? What did he do? And then I got the context. I'm like, oh shit.
Got lore for you, not for your casual.
Yeah.
I was unaware. Or something new every. Yeah, good for him. Good for him getting his.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, at the end of the day, also, you know what also pissed me off is that at the end of the finale, after everything's said and done, he's walking over to Fennec and he's like, maybe we're not cut out for this. I'm like, bitch, why don't we do this in the first place?
A valid fucking question. What did we do it for in the first place?
You never justify why you wanted to do it in the first place, and now you want to quit?
Not cut out for
now
this.
You're done now that
sir.
you did it?
I know you didn't just fucking say that to my face after all the people we been through.
I know you didn't just waste 5 hours of my
right.
time.
And the thing is, it's like the last 3 episodes are pretty strong. The first 4, outside of the flashback sequences, are kind of, and that's a big issue.
I think it's cool. I think the last one's like okay. I think it's cool, like from an action standpoint.
It's cool. It's not the strongest. And I had to tell me why I had to look up that was what's the name of the cowboy? Got Cad Bane, and then Cobb Vanth was the one in the Bacta tank being worked on by Thundercat. I'm like, oh,
I didn't
recognize him either. I'm like, who the fuck is this supposed to be? Am I supposed to know who this is? And I looked it up. It was Cobb Vanth, and I'm like,
right.
Oh,
what were you saying? If he was in the tank and then Thundercat was working on
just
him.
that I didn't know who the fuck it was.
Right. Like, who is this bearded white man?
I was like, bro, this could be anybody. You gotta be specific.
Also, when Thundercat first came on the scene, I was like, what the fuck? Like the first episode.
Oh yeah. I was like, nigga, is that Thundercat? Is he dropping some music in this? Hell yeah!
Right.
And I think he did.
Was there music in this? I don't remember.
I think there were like a song, and I think it was the song when he showed up. It sounded like Thundercat music.
Oh, I don't remember. I have to go back.
Yeah, I heard something in there. I'm like, this sounds like him. Thunderico shit. Thunderico.
Oh, this sounds thundery.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have anything else to kind of throw in the old Bacta chamber? I'm hoping for a season 2, and I hope they learn from these mistakes, because it's not a terrible show. The problem is that off the heels of Mando, it's like fine. And fine isn't good enough for a character with this much kind of hype around it. The hype kind of died for him, and I feel bad.
It was muddled and confused. Felt like they should have just, he would have been perfectly fine as a supporting character because he was great. He was great in Mando season 2. I loved
He was
him in that
dope there.
role.
And Robert Rodriguez did that episode when he first showed up. And that's probably why they picked him. It was like, well, he did so good the first time. Let him do it again. It's like, bet. I mean, I get the logic. I just hate the way the.
You know what it was? I felt like they announced the show before they had the idea for what they wanted.
I feel like that's exactly
and
what happened.
Like, oh fuck, we got a year.
I think you're right.
Oh fuck, we got a year to figure. Because yeah, man, at the end of episode 4, it felt like the show was just starting, and then like, all right, now we're getting ready, about to fuck up some pikes, and then oh, it's 2 Mando episodes. Yeah. Okay, now we're about to fuck up some. Oh, it's over. Oh, okay. I guess we did it. I was like, man, this could have been like an ongoing. I feel like it just like shot the bed on its potential.
Yeah, it's. All right, let's go.
Yeah, so this was a little poopy, and I'm ready to put this plate aside. But there's a new better plate.
There is.
And you know what? Being honest, bro, I think I really want to taste it.
Do you really want to taste it? God damn, what an unskippable opening. Let's talk about Peacemaker. It just wrapped yesterday as we're recording this. It was good. I know we talked about the first episode way back when it first aired. And since then, the show the first season, they just announced that they're going to do a season 2, which I'm curious about because this season is actually relatively self-contained. But show-wise, James does it again. Gets me involved in these random across-the-board shit-heel characters, except for Chris's dad, that piece of shit. I'm glad he's gone. Yeah. This is John Cena's best acting that I've seen him. I think 100%. It plays to, like, he showed a lot of range here, in my opinion.
You know what's the crazy thing for me is that I grew up a wrestling fan. You know, I started watching wrestling since like 2000. It was WrestleMania 21, so I want to say that was 2005, and I think that's when he won his first championship.
Right.
And I think I continued with wrestling up until like, I think I was an avid wrestling fan for like 5-6 years. So like maybe like up until like 2012, 2013. It's kind of when I, maybe like sometime between 2011. But in spite of that fact, John Cena, Batista, those were like staples of my childhood and staples of wrestling for me. I tune in every day to watch the character or those versions of those people on screen. And in spite of that fact, when I would watch Peacemaker, because just the way that the show was written, when I was watching Peacemaker, I wasn't watching John Cena. I was watching Peacemaker
Christopher Smith,
screen, which is baffling for me. Christopher Smith, because he wasn't the John Cena in that show. For me, he was fucking Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, smoking weed, shooting people, daddy issues. Like, it was a fully realized character, and I was like, that was really impressive on both John Cena's part and James' part to make this person who I've known for years disappear into this guy. And not to mention the supporting cast, just with how
phenomenal supporting cast
dynamic was improv. Because when we first hear about the show, I was like, I don't really go.
I think that's specifically what I said when we found out. I'm like, who gives a fuck about Peacemaker? The fuck? Who the fuck is Peacemaker? I get
right, and then like when they announced it, Squad was even out, or it's like, oh, I guess.
Yeah, like
okay.
I love the Suicide Squad. But I'm just like, really, a Peacemaker show? I mean, come on, bro. I want a Rat Catcher show. Why Peacemaker? And then, well.
Right, and then we see, and then like, even with the support, why should I give a fuck about these people, man? I don't even. Okay, like we're the other superhero. You know, he's on the Suicide Squad with all these villains, and yeah, man, like they got core, and then especially at that last episode with Economos,
yeah,
and then him finally admitting that his beard was dyed, and the sad story of like why he did it. It's like,
Ugh.
I felt
Um,
that. That's rough. And seeing Peacemaker's face react to that, it's like, ugh, damn. Yeah, it was just good from start to finish. I will say,
go ahead.
Vigilante annoyed me a little bit
I
at certain points, but then he
I
won me
think the
back.
reason I was able to tolerate Vigilante more is because usually a character like that is like thunderously incompetent. Vigilante actually can hold his own. Like he's a dumb fuck, but he can fight and actually like
But it was a weird dichotomy for Vigilante, which is why I
right.
accepted it. Because in the parts where he was dumb, I think especially like how many episodes? I think episodes 5 and 6 was like he started to get on my nerves, but then like the last two, he didn't bother me as
Yeah,
much. But then the first three, I really liked
I
him.
I found myself really like enjoying. I mean, I think the supporting cast on the show was great. Yeah, Vigilante was real- a fucking nut, but I think there
Oh, yeah,
I found him relatively likable, especially because he walked into the lion's den of a bunch of white supremacists and beat the dog shit out of them. I'm like, yeah, whatever he does now is just lets it slide.
yeah. He was like a walking enigma
Right.
because like he was so dumb, but also like wanted affection, but is also a sociopath. And like, but he has like a weird code. Like, especially the scene that comes to mind was when he was ready to kill those nurses at the vet, or ready to kill those
Yep.
veterinarians. But then when they said don't kill him, he's like, "Oh, we can't use duct tape; it's gonna hurt their arms."
Yeah, and it's just like you
Just
care
like,
you don't mind killing them, but you care about the duct tape to use.
yeah, like he doesn't want to hurt them, but he doesn't mind killing them. It's a weird kind of line to have for a sociopath who's like a mass murderer.
The butterflies as a villain, I think were very interesting. James kind of does that flippy dippy shit again, like he did with Starro, of creating a somewhat likable villain, and especially by the tail end of the show when Goff kind of explains the whole necessity of the cow and what happened with the planet. Um, I think they were I actually like them. Because when the one came out of Clemson, out of Mum, and they smashed it and it died, I actually felt sad. I'm like, fuck, Clemson's gone. Shit.
Mern?
Or Merm. Mern, yeah. Call him Mum. Mern.
Mom.
Mum. Clemson.
Got some more
Clemson
tea,
Mum.
Mom.
Yeah, Mern. And Mern was good. His acting was really good. For someone that I've never heard of before. So he's gonna be in Guardians 3. Who else did we have?
Yeah.
Harcourt did her thing. Economos, now that I think about it and I realize why that end sequence was what it was about how like much Peacemaker's words hurt him about constantly pointing out that he dyed his beard is because the same thing that Peacemaker was doing to Economos, Rick Flag did to Peacemaker. When he went, Peacemaker, what a joke. Although it was just the one time it stuck out. Now Peacemaker's like doing that multiple times to Economos over his beard, and that sticks out. And it's an insecurity.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. A lot of this stuff Peacemaker does stems from insecurity, which is it's amazing to me that in spite of the crazy wackiness of the events of this show, whether it be butterflies or the flying Nazi or the gorilla killed with a chainsaw, nucleus has always been character. Has always been character first. And the characters and their actions move the plot forward, and even to the points where we get to what the main and the butterflies motives are, it's literally just the Peacemaker going against his own ideology of doing anything at the cost
Peace.
of peace. I'll do any. They'll get peace no matter how many men, women
Doesn't have to die for him to achieve it.
get it. Yeah, and he's faced with his own he's looking at like
Mirror.
a alien version mirror of
Yeah.
himself, or what he believed his ideology should be, and he chooses to rise above that in the very cool to see at the cost of Adebayo. I would never thought in a million years I would see a black woman in a helmet fly through a fucking alien. Save the day.
Activate, what was it, torpedo mode? Human, fucking
Yeah.
human torpedo. Oh, which, let's talk about Adebayo, the beating heart of this show. Daniel Brooks knocked this shit out of the fucking park.
She
Like,
really
she
did.
was so
She killed it.
likable. And then the way, I do want to talk about the two big surprises from the end in a little bit. She just, some door blow opening moments that happen. So the DCEU is headed in a very odd direction, it seems. God damn, I love Adebayo. And like I pointed out in the first episode, it was nice to see a relatively normalized, like, queer black lady relationship. That was pleasant. It wasn't like hypersexualized. It was just like they would make jokes about her being a lesbian, but it never seemed like, oh, it's funny because she's gay. Like, the person telling the joke always seemed like the idiot about it, and it was usually either Peacemaker or Vigilante, like not understanding how lesbians work. So it's like the person saying the stupid thing remains the stupid person, but the joke still. So the joke is not on. It's not punching down. It's not even punching up. It's just like punching yourself in the face, and people laugh.
Right. Like, oh, you're laughing at their.
Yeah, you're laughing at somebody else's expense, but they're an idiot, so you don't feel bad.
No, I thought they did a great job with
Yeah.
her. Strange, I thought her wife was going to be a bigger character in the show, because she was front and she was like one of the front people of the intro, and I just thought that she was going to have a bigger part to play, other than
supportive wife.
Supportive wife. But we see she is the character arc, Diebeard or Economos.
Now you called him Diebeard too. The bitch with the gray. I mean,
Economos.
He has a name, don't he? Yeah.
They each had a character arc, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because it would be harder to do it over in a 2-hour movie, but they had 8 episodes to really develop these characters. The only one that didn't feel natural to me was Harcourt's arc, because she went from being like fuck, I don't trust anybody, to like, you can call me Chris, or like, you can call me Amelia, and then the next episode she's like, he was one of us. I was like, damn, that was like a complete 180. That was like we can dip our toe in the water to like, bitch, I'm all in. Like, we swimming together, motherfucker. Like, I was like, oh shit. Like, that was a really fast turnaround from episode 6 to episode 7. But I was like, okay. I mean, it's not like, shows can't be perfect. I feel like they did the most with what they had, and I feel like, I feel like the character arc was definitely heading in that direction. I feel like it was rushed, especially in that episode. But like, by the time we got to the finale, I believed her journey. Need some little bit of acceleration in that department, but yeah, I think overall, like, pretty much awesome from start to finish. Like, yeah, like James Gunn has a hit on his hand. I'm sure John Cena is going to be willing to pay Peacemaker for many years to come.
No, you're good. I was just going to say that, speaking of maybe like light-ish criticisms, how do you feel about the White Dragon subplot now that the series or the season is done? Because although I very much am thoroughly entertained by a bunch of bigots getting blown and shot to shit, when I think about it it seemed more subservient somewhat to Chris's arc, but I don't know how necessary it was to the core plot. It kind of
It wasn't necessary to the
yeah,
core
like
plot,
when I
no.
think about it, like his dad could have just made the helmets. And I guess I'm wondering what. Yeah, I think that if there is a criticism, it's probably that like that. Granted, I don't know what they're going to do for season 2, or even if they had that in
I
mind,
think
but because like at the end, again, this is all it'll say full spoilers in the fucking tag, but it's just like he now has his dad living in his mind rent free, as a ghost or a vision. Um,
I think the movie version of finale would have had them still going to the cows, but also episode 7 would have been molded to episode 8, and he would have had to deal with the stuff with his dad at the same time he's trying to deal with the butterflies. Some of the Nazis would have been turned into
right.
butterflies. And then I think it would have been maybe a powerful thing for temporarily his dad and him have to work together to take down the butterflies, but at the end of the day the dad still wants to kill him and then he has to
Yeah.
kill his dad.
Huh.
I think that would have been a powerful thing for him to have to
And
do.
I think the implication. Go
But
ahead.
no, I was saying, but I'm not mad at the way that they. Cool. I think if they would have done it where the Nazis were something in the finale, it would have.
Or
I
you
don't know.
can't like tell
Just
the
made
Nazis
it feel
from
all
the
more connected.
butterflies, so everybody gets shot, and then like not only do the Justice League show up, we actually get dialogue from Aquaman and Flash, uh, where they both say "fuck."
But I don't think Flash. I don't think Flash says fuck, does he?
Yeah, you're right.
I think he
Sorry,
said you
sorry. I
do.
should
You
say
have
they
to
say
do.
they say "fuck" in the episode. Aquaman says, which that seemed genuine too. Fuck you, fuck you, Barry. Which I'm like, yeah. I'm like, no, we need to clip that because that could be applied both in and outside of context. It's like anytime the CW Flash says, "Fuck you, Barry."
Right. Fuck you, Barry. Or if Barry on his show
Yeah,
fucks up.
yeah,
Fuck
or
you,
just
Barry.
like it goes back to watch the original Justice League. Fuck you, Barry. Like,
You asked me how I felt about it, and I was honestly kind of
I was too. I
surprised.
was blown the
On
fuck
what
away. I'm
one
like, whoa.
because normally you don't see that. You always I think we've become accustomed to the the characters going from TV to movies, but not necessarily from movies to TV.
Yes. No, no,
Or
you're
like, or
right. No,
no,
you're right.
like yeah, like Agents of Shield. Like we never expected to see anyone from the movie show up in Agents of Shield, but it wouldn't be plausible if it was the other way
Yeah.
around. So it was very cool to kind of see like the flagship characters of DC in this show, but also I feel like with those more particular characters, there's this expectation to make them more marketable, so they can't cuss or
Yeah.
like they can't do this or can't do that, but they kind of broke that mold with this episode and like they let Aquaman say fuck.
Which,
Oh,
which, oddly
okay.
enough
I
for this,
guess we
oddly
can
enough
do
for this Aquaman, it's in character. And what's interesting too,
yeah.
that league lineup is it's Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Flash. No Cyborg and no Batman, which is very curious.
Yeah. Which funny enough, I actually read an interview earlier. They said that was intentional
It had to be.
because potentially future stuff. Yeah, but also, funny enough, in the same interview I read, Ezra Miller's scene was shot while they were filming Guardians 3.
Yeah, I can
Wait,
hear
can
you.
you hear me?
I'm just confused by what you said.
Yeah, so they shot his scene during Guardians 3 because Marvel owed him a favor because the guy who played Myrn shot his test screening while they were filming Peacemaker.
Wow.
So he came to the Guardian set and filmed his Flash stuff and improv Flash stuff for 30 minutes on while they were filming Guardians, which is wild to me. Yeah, I found
That's
that
a
out earlier
fucking
today.
James Gunn, you magnificent bastard. You pulled a power move on fucking Disney. That's insane. Um, yeah, and thinking about the way you talked about how characters move too definitely reminds me of a another example when Ezra Miller showed up on the Flash during Crisis. Like to this day, I still
Yeah.
say that's a pretty top tier moment in like TV, just because like it's a little bit like it's shocking to see, the movie character go to the TV spinoff. But the budgets for like Peacemaker and Suicide Squad are comparable. That's a little bit more believable than DC big $1 million budget movie to the CW shows. So it's
Yeah, no, that was
yeah, like
really
the
crazy.
gap between is much bigger, even though it's the same like company. So it doesn't cheapen the experience here. Um, yeah, again, this Superman and Wonder Woman hidden by shadows.
Yeah, I was just like, why? I felt like a little bothered by that. I'm like, man, you haven't seen Henry Cavill? Like, this
He's
man
not
wants to
coming
be
back.
Superman. Like, let this
He ain't
man be
coming back.
Superman. Let this man be
You're
fucking
right,
Superman.
but
Like,
they're not getting him back. He's one with the Witcher. He's one
why?
with the Witcher now. He can't be saved. Don't save him.
He wants
He don't
it.
want to be
They literally
saved.
showed. they literally showed what looks like Henry Cavill in a silhouette. Come on,
It's
fucking.
yeah.
That was ridiculous. But I'm happy we got
Yeah.
the two we did get.
So there's that.
And we know why. We know why we didn't get what's his
Ooh.
name though? Like Ben Affleck, I get it, but like because
Oh,
Ben
yeah,
Affleck
yeah.
kind of done, but like what's his name Cyborg, that's a little bit more complicated. Like yeah, they're probably gonna have to recast him.
Yeah, they don't want to bring back
if they decide
Ray,
to Cyborg.
even though he was right, evidently, and I gotta eat my words on that one. He was pretty correct with his assumptions about people being terrible. The other kind of bombshell we got was Adebayo basically blowing the doors open on Task Force X, Amanda Waller, the whole deep state stuff. So I'm guessing that season 2 is going to be about Peacemaker on the Lam, because holy shit. He's like, oh, when she said, oh, I'm off to do something that I should have done a long time ago, and it's just like, or I'm off to make things right. And I'm like, okay, girl, what you about to do? Had a press conference, blew their shit wide open. Even Amanda Waller was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, me too, sis.
Yeah, I was not expecting that at all. I'm like, that's a huge thing to do in a TV show that's gonna affect the universe.
Right.
Like you're making some big moves, doing some. I mean, I don't know how much it's gonna affect like the universe as a whole, but like I suppose like the pocket that James Gunn has kind of created is gonna have a major effect on that side of
Right.
things.
Yeah. This has a lot of implications for the future of the DCEU, just as far as like doing other things with future Suicide Squads and how the government engages with superheroes and lots of other shit. So I am very curious as to how much they take of this and where it goes in the future. Yeah, Peacemaker is phenomenal, and I'm glad it exists. Words I never thought I'd fucking say. I don't know. Was there anything else we kind of wanted to talk about with the maker of Peaceman?
The maker of Peaceman? No, I think we said it all.
Well, we've been here for a grip and a half. We might have to dig into those other topics in the future.
Okay.
So, Aaron, where can people find you at, my man?
You guys can find me in my room, but I'll be back soon. You can find me on the streets or in a Walmart.
Take your time, brother. Take your time. If you're looking for me, Find me on my YouTube channel at Will the Greatest. You can also find me on Instagram at Will the Greatest if you want to follow the show. You can. I post the episodes actually on my YouTube channel as well as on all the podcast platforms. But if you want to follow the page for the show, we actually now have posters. We being me. So I do poster work now. So check out the Etsy. But yeah, that's it. Atlas Comics Elite on Instagram, ATLAS Comics Elite. Don't forget to hashtag Ask Ace if you have any questions you want us to answer on air. With that being said, don't forget to like the show and thumbs up the show, rate the show highly, tell your friends, share the show, and follow the show. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you all for giving us your time and attention. We will see you in the next one.